someone might be coming in to make you a bogus offer. We have the dead end job and love and gaslight and privilege all in reverse. And I had to noodle on this a little bit because I wasn't quite sure how this all was coming together, but I looked up this card, this love and gaslight, and it mentions cult leader application denied, but it came out in reverse. So maybe this is someone just kind of with that attitude, that sort of moral superiority, I know best, my way is the way, might be trying to bring you into the fold with like a scammy job offer, which those are a fairly newer scam, but with like remote work, it's getting more and more common. Um, Trying to convince you that something is a privilege. Like, well, if you don't take this opportunity, then you may never get one again. Like, where's that logic coming from? um, and the dice roll did reinforce it for me because I got the sixth house, the moon, and Aquarius. And that sixth house, it plopped on the floor. So grounded, like grounding that down. I don't know. It's kind of like a fall. I'm interpreting that kind of literally, like it would be a detriment to like the sixth house, systems, organizations, that sort of perfection, Virgo. And moon energy, that's hidden, and Aquarius is groups and friends. So I don't know if this is someone who will seem like someone you know. Maybe it's like a friend of a friend of a friend, something like that. But I wanted to get some charms out to see if we can get a little more hints about this, because it's hard to get into this energy. I was getting like brain fog trying to get set up for this. Granted, I have my own stuff going on in regards to that, but happened both when I was picking out the decks and getting set up. A little bit more. Some more charms. There. When I see that butterfly, some more transformation. A couple of them. But what letters do we have? V, S, R, L. It's just giving me like those little abbreviations you get on the stock market. So NNOA, E, another R, and F. I don't know what this is reminding me of. NNOA. Cereal. SRL. Fern. See that. Oh, maybe New Orleans. NOLA. NOLA. So maybe those are significant in some way, but I see these butterflies here. A couple of them. Some more emphasis on that transformation. So maybe, so we've been talking about that theme of competitiveness too, like maybe just getting you out of some sort of running for something makes the competition easier, something like that. So trying to throw you off your game, get you out of the running inadvertently by you taking another opportunity elsewhere. I see another butterfly, so 3 butterflies. And this looks like a unicorn. Right as that clock chimes, something to do with Scotland. Somebody Scottish. That's the national animal for Scotland. And Pegasus. And this is interesting. So when people say they use unicorn for like you're one of a kind, it's actually Pegasus that is one of a kind. There's only one Pegasus, and there were many unicorn. Because Pegasus was born of Medusa when Perseus relieved her of her head, and there was only ever one, the Pegasus. So it's interesting. But it gets rebranded with the unicorn. A couple of leaves. Green and gray. It's kind of a slate gray. That's interesting. Kind of a contrast, like winter, summer. And here's that ginkgo. It looks like a ginkgo leaf. That keeps coming up. Something important about that. It's like a supplement or something. And a pumpkin. More of that Cinderella energy. I don't know if this is what the ginkgo leaves actually look like. The little lines in them. What is this? Oh, an elephant and the baby. So maybe a mama and a baby? That's cute. Passing wisdom down. Oh, my book's just tumbled over. The Irish witchcraft one. Weird. A pointing finger? Or is that like the finger heart? I can't. The same? Maybe. They're either pointing or making a finger heart. Another pair of scarecrows. Twosies, twinsies. And what is this? Like a hat? Maybe even a cornucopia? It's got a little pumpkin there. So, emphasis on twins, and I mean the unicorn and the Pegasus are fairly similar. Oh, and it just made me think of that general wisdom when it comes to doing your eyebrows. They're supposed to be sisters, not twins. So very similar, but not exactly the same. So maybe it's some sort of offer that looks like something you want, but you really don't. Because this was like the stepmom energy trying to come in. That's what I wanted to explore with this. Like, what is that energy trying to manipulate? And it doesn't actually have to be a stepmom, just that Cinderella vibe that they don't, anybody but Cinderella, you know, going to the ball and the prince finding her and whatnot. So let's see. We'll get the Kawaii Tarot out. So I like this for when trying to look past a mask, because it's so cute. I want to see past the surface. So what about this not dead-end job? Or so they say. Because I think it's actually a bad... Yeah, Chariot in reverse. Not a prudent path. But look how cute they are. They're a little chariot. But it's like distracting. It's like you see the truth of it and then like derailed immediately. Kind of like workplaces or whatever that they don't offer raises that will keep up with like the cost of living and things like that. They're like, but we have a foosball table, but we have snacks. Like, cool, because I'm gonna have to be relying on those when ends don't meet, because you're not paying me to live in the city that you want the job done in. Goodness gracious. So what about this Chariot, though? Something that wouldn't lead to the forward movement you're trying to accomplish, whatever your goals are. Oh, and the Mars-Uranus conjunction is exact today. So I wonder what the macro picture will look like in regards to that. Oh, maybe this is like a get-rich-quick scheme. Knight of Pentacles in reverse. The slowest knight in the deck, but in reverse would be like rushing. And their steed, it's like one of those toys that you'd have as a kid. The little pretend horse. So a facade. And this privilege card, it has all that like kind of social media references, hashtag, cell phones. This coffee cup says white tears, which I thought was pretty funny. And she's actually collecting them in the cup. She's not necessarily consuming them. That's an interesting, kind of a haunting vibe. Like just the observance of somebody suffering and collecting that. It kind of... I want to handle this delicately. So just a trigger warning, because I know it's a difficult topic. But I've seen this picture floating around of Ariana Grande. And it looks like a painting. Very dystopian at that, because she is cast in this like haunting light that somehow is different than everybody around her. She's on stage in this, it's like a ballerina-esque sort of outfit, but her dancers are around her looking like vibrant and full of life, and she's almost in this like blue-gray scale sort of coloring. And then in the background you have all those faces of the crowd and the cell phones and everything, and it's just this horrifying metaphor for what society takes from women, just literally draining the life away from women, all in the name of performance, of entertainment. And so maybe somebody's trying to like appeal to the ego, appeal to the like make a deal with the devil, sell your soul, fame, fortune, become a rock star, like all those things. Meanwhile, the back end of that deal is that cost of having your essence drained from you, like the dark crystal or something. But they know how to speed it up, how to cheat the system or whatever. It's like somebody coming up to you and like, I can make you famous. Like, well, why aren't you famous then? Why aren't you making yourself famous? Like, why are you going around to other people, like, just out of the goodness of your heart? Shut up. That's the kind of questions to be asking if somebody approaches you, especially, like, you're not seeking them, you're not seeking a job or something. If you can make me famous, one, why aren't you? And two, I don't know why, like, what's their gain in it, you know? Four of Wands. Their gain is ultimate happiness. The Homecoming card. The choosing of the champion. Because sometimes that's referred to as like the ceremony of the lovers, the wedding. It's like finding the next big star, something like that. But then that's the manipulation to take you out of whatever this competition or transformation that has been carrying through in these readings, that somehow impeding with your transformation or on your transformation, there's some sort of benefit to that. So what does stepmom get out of scamming you? Getting you distracted, getting you caught up in having to deal with something you wouldn't otherwise be having to deal with. The Zoom meeting? She is on fire with swords in her. Like, it's kind of giving me 10 of Swords, like that vibe. It's not that many. It looks like 4, which is decidedly not restful in this card. But like the oven's on fire. Oh, it's just everything behind her that's on fire. So interesting. The perspective, the perception, ignoring the dumpster fire that's going on. What's the connection there? So she gains something, maybe by you ignoring some sort of fire. What's that about? What's this fire? What are you ignoring? Triggered. And I think that did a topsy-turvy. Couldn't quite see. So I think that was going to come out reversed. She benefits from you not getting triggered? I mean, as someone who gets triggered, yeah, okay. I think it's generally not only in the person dealing with PTSD, what have you, whatever triggers, not aggravating them to just be a kind human, you know, not make people's lives more difficult. But that explosive anger as part of PTSD do be explosive. Maybe there's something known going on in the background that you're going to be mad about? Maybe? I want one more. Triggered about what? Is that one? That's one. Trauma bond. Okay, yeah, those are triggering. And people use this phrase wrong a lot. And I know my mute button is still out, still waiting on that microphone, so sorry. Oh. But trauma bond, the way that people use this word or this phrase is to describe bonding over traumatic things, or taking it very literally. And that's not what a trauma bond is. Trauma bonds are that chemical addiction that gets created through the highs and lows of abusive relationships. I think the technical term is like intermittent reinforcement, where there will be patterns like being told things are going to happen, and then sometimes they do, but then there's also really big letdowns. And then there will be good things after those big letdowns. And then the cycle will begin again, and it creates an actual like addiction in your brain to that person. That's why it's so difficult for people to get out of abusive relationships, because of that bond, the trauma bond. But it's interesting to me too that that's like the second thing referencing pedantry that's come up in this reading. Because the unicorn and the Pegasus, that also, like, people are misusing that example. So a misuse of something not well understood, and so that it was able to be manipulated. Huh. Tell me more about that. It's like somebody who knows the jargon well enough to know that other people don't understand it. And so taking advantage of that, like, position of expertise. Which the stepmom in Cinderella kind of did that, like taking advantage of her position of power to give an unfair advantage to her children and not Cinderella. So maybe someone is trying to give you an offer in something maybe you're not well versed in, thinking that, I don't know, you won't educate yourself on it, you won't sleep on it, I don't know. King of Pentacles in reverse. Yeah, I don't know. Like, you gotta use your discernment on your own situation. But this is supposed to be the Master of Coin. I don't quite know how this example would play out, but it's like somebody trying to come in and make a business deal with you right before something big occurs. I don't know if, like, something that's a detriment financially to them, and then somehow you're on the hook for something because you're in business with them. I don't know. Or seeing the potential in something that you're doing and then trying to, like, buy you out. I don't know. Like, maybe you want to start a business and have never done that before. Somebody's trying to take advantage of that naivete. There's another king. In the reverse, too. Yeah, I don't like this. King of Wands in the reverse. Manipulative. Because that's a king of ideas. The creative flame. This is like people who see what you could become and are trying to cut that off at the pass. Because you would be the competition or something. And at that point, it's like, well, why don't you just get better? Like, why don't you train harder? I don't know, rethink what it is you're doing. But no, you gotta try and tear somebody else down from hard-earned success, from something they're working towards, and as if there's not enough success to go around. Of course, there's a bunch of people hoarding at the top, which is its own problem, but tearing down each other at the bottom, that's not going to do anything about the hoarding at the top. So, oh, there we go. A lot of court cards, so a lot of people involved again, and I think that was the last reading too. It's lots of people. Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Now this is giving me in particular, because she is so gosh darn cute. That's the, like, the type of manipulator that you don't expect. The one that's been bringing donuts into the office, the office grandma even, not knowing that She has just the same likelihood as anybody else to participate in manipulative things. But she's giving off the perception that she's not like that. So maybe it's somebody really good at masking their true intentions. Right as that clock chimes. And this would be like somebody knowingly doing something that would trigger you, and they're trying to keep that from you because they don't want the reaction. They set the fire, but they don't want the smoke. Well, that's not avoidable. Like, you went ahead with it. So what are they trying to get you to ignore? That trauma bond. It seems like a lot of effort. The Empress? The Empress is what's triggering? And she's holding a baby and a crow. That's like the life, death, and rebirth cycle. And this Empress in particular has always reminded me of the Morrigan, just because it has that, like, that darker aesthetic, the crow. But this is what's triggering trauma bond to the Empress? Tell me more about the Empress. It's confusing. Something you're going to be mad about that has to do with the Empress? Feral? Something you're going to be really mad about when it comes to the Empress. What about this feral? What are we going to be so mad about? I mean, it seems like a bogus deal. Like, of course it would be infuriating. Somebody trying to trick you, somebody trying to trap you, when you're just trying to live your life. Potentially, like, a friend of a friend or something. Simp. And red flag in reverse. An interesting combination. So you're going to be mad about somebody who isn't a red flag? Somebody who was presented like a red flag? But they're actually an Empress. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Something just came to mind. A dream I had. I've been having these recurring dreams about a man I don't recognize. And I don't think it's a man I don't know. It's like a man I don't recognize. And I'm inclined to, like, lean into the, well, maybe that's my animus. But I feel pretty balanced in my shadow work. Not that it would never present to me, but the underlying theme in these recurring dreams is like their energy is invasive. This man I don't recognize. And not necessarily in your face invasive. It's just kind of that subtle, like, oh, this person kind of makes me uncomfortable. I don't know. And I had a dream that I think it was them, that they got into a car accident because I was driving and they tried to overtake me, and they were in a blue car and they were wearing blue. So blue was really important. But they tried to overtake me. It was really like packed traffic and whatnot. And they went straight into the back of a semi. But when I came upon, like right where they had crashed, the image flipped. Like they were passing me. We were both facing the same direction when they crashed. But when I looked at where they were facing the other direction. As if they were coming completely from the other side of the road. And it was surprisingly not a lot of carnage for how bad it was. But I thought it was interesting the level of aggression compared to the color blue. Because blue is generally like calming and serene, and it doesn't convey that anger that was present in this person. And so it's like something's not quite right with the way it was presented. I don't know if that means that maybe you went for an opportunity and then in the background trying to convince, maybe the stepmom energy was trying to convince whomever is involved that you are not what you are like, that you're actually different, like a mirror image or something. That like sudden backwardsness, or you present as calm but you're actually really aggressive or something like that. And maybe somebody involved in this process, they don't want them finding that out, that you were lied about, because they're going to be mad. Because there could be consequences for that. If this is like a job opportunity or something, that could be discriminatory in nature. That could be a lot of things. All not good, really. But it's like someone maybe involved in this process just like, I don't know, doesn't get you. Maybe you're an Aquarius, and like I'm an Aquarius rising. People don't get me. Aquarius rising and a Pisces sun. People don't get me. They also don't ask. So I don't absorb that responsibility. Because like you're grown and you still haven't mastered clarifying questions. Like you did not pass the skill check, my guy. But something like that. And then maybe the stepmom energy used, like leaned into that influence. The, oh, they don't get this person, so I can kind of capitalize on that and amplify the distorted perception of them. And maybe you and this person are going to be really mad when this all comes out. Because, I mean, this is essentially altering other people's destiny. Or attempting to. Taking away choices that would have been theirs had they not been interfered with. Now, I don't think we're locked into one specific destiny and that there won't be other opportunities for us, but they may have destroyed a path, an available path that you could have otherwise taken. And now that it was interfered with, it's just not available anymore, you know? It's like they got the resource first and they used all of it, so now it's not available to you when it was supposed to be yours. We've got 9 of Wands and 6 of Wands. Holding boundaries for victory. It's always a good strategy. Boundaries for victory. But interesting. The 9 of Wands, they're only actually holding 6. And there are 3 on the ground. And so maybe that represents the path. Where is that? Clock chimes. The path that wasn't able to be taken because of this interference. That's like the journey that never arrived, or they stole your train ticket, whatever. But it somehow leads to victory. I mean, this could very well have some sort of paper trail. There's some sort of evidence, like it's going to be found out, is the vibe that I'm getting. And then that is what leads to the victory, because maybe this is what was done to try and prevent your transformation. And it may have prevented this path, but that doesn't mean it prevented your transformation. It might have made it a lot freaking harder. Goodness gracious. It bothers me to no end when people go out of their way to hurt others. And I'm also kind of getting the vibe too that they might try to downplay it. Like the love and gaslight. Like, oh, we didn't know it was going to be this bad, or it was going to impact their finances and whatnot. Like, you interfered with a job opportunity. Of course it's impacting their finances. Like trying to suddenly act after masterminding something like this, interfering with the Chariot, with somebody's path, that now they don't understand. Now they don't know what they were doing. Like, but you were so good at planning this out, at messing with somebody else's life. You got to pick a lane, or we're going to pick a lane for you. 4 of Cups. Apathy. And they're holding 2 with 2 on the ground. So maybe as part of this, it's deciding what relationships to keep and what relationships to leave behind. Because it might be a lot of true colors being seen. Like, wow, you really thought that about me? Didn't even bother to speak to me, to ask me questions? It's like the Aquarius. Like, people don't bother trying to understand that out there mind, the big picture thinking and things like that. And Pisces too, very fluid. But could also be seeing maybe people who stood up, maybe people who took issue with this. Doesn't mean they necessarily had power to do anything in the situation. Kind of got to assess case by case. And I would say harshly, if it were me. No excuses. These are adults. They had the ability to ask for help, ask clarifying questions, take a greater issue with things, even if it was scary. And then there's that mirror a little bit too, the way that 5 and 4 look like in Roman numeral. It's like V11V. 5115. So someone prevented, or even maybe, unfortunately, eliminated a path through unfair competition, abusing their position as power, because that's very like evil stepmom. That, well, I'm right, I get to be suddenly just plugged into the matriarch position of this system because I married that guy. And then they're expecting to have all the, like, the social clout with, as if they were there the whole time. No, not quite. And it can be very spiritual bypassy, when you hear people saying things like rejection is protection and things like that, because maybe this is something you genuinely wanted, and maybe it's leading to greener pastures. Hopefully, that's definitely the hope. But what it did do was take away your agency. It took your autonomy. It can be very traumatic to have those stripped from you. And whatever you had to endure in the meantime. Because what if this was like not even like a dream job, dream position, something like that, but just a higher paying position in a company that you're working at that you weren't allowed to compete for, and you had to withstand the financial burden as a result of that. Like, you didn't get money that you would have otherwise had to deal with problems that you were actively trying to resolve. But then there's this snapshot of what it paints for you, because people will look at your credit score and whatnot and just make a judgment based on that, not knowing that you were getting abused that whole time, being subject to financial abuse. And I don't know, credit scores weren't even a thing until like 1989. That it's not improving things, at least not for the working class. It's just making it harder to survive. And it gets taken advantage of. It doesn't allow for like reasonable corrections. Because there's not, like, these things can get solved eventually, but it takes years to go through these like processes and things like that. And I'm a millennial. I'm noticing that I'm reaching the age that I see, or I've seen other people go through like major life stuff that's really expensive, and I've had my own issues with that, with like medical things and so forth. And because I'm a millennial, I don't have a house to sell. I don't have assets to lose to try and make up for these losses. It's just scraping by on the bottom of the barrel, and it's like, what do you do? We don't have nearly what the generations prior had to withstand the failures of this system that just obviously does not care about us. I don't know. And that might be the argument here. That look what kind of position you left this person in. In this environment, you did this to them. Like, this could be a lawyer or a judge or something getting triggered. Like, how cruel can you be to somebody to just let them suffer like that? So what impact has this had? Uh-oh. Good and bad. The 0 of Fs. Which, that's interesting. Because that can absolutely, like, situations like this can totally push you into your villain era. And you can accomplish a lot. People really, I don't know, downplay and villainize and demonize anger in women. I say anger is your path to freedom, because anger is fuel. Anger can help you punch through that wall that people insist that we be boxed in by. And I'm seeing a lot more women around my age posting up memes and stuff. Like, it's starting to make sense why women have to be so heavily suppressed. Is because that's the only way to contain us. Right as that clock chimes. We have to get married off early and ridiculed and criticized and chastised endlessly because we don't walk around as this fountain of youth. It's trying to keep us out of our crone era, because that's really what this is. And women in their crone era are dangerous, because that's where change comes from. Real dissent and waking people up, becoming that empress, that, like, the dark feminine, the feral empress, and going, enough. This kingdom stands on the backs of its serfs and then kicks them in the ribs. No more. Women will lead the way with our anger. What is this saying? May the bridges I burn light the way. And I'm seeing a lot more women in that vibe, which I like. Going with the bottom one. Podcast. Perfect, right as I just yammer. Blah, blah, blah. So maybe you want to start your own podcast. Because it's a good way to vent out some steam while you're going through difficult situations. It's definitely a form of therapy. Like, there's obviously, like, the regular therapy, which I think is a great part of the support system, but it's, I don't know, like, the bad stuff happens. You get the therapy and the support group for your own internal work, and then the podcast, that's the alchemy. That's repurposing it, repackaging it, and putting it out in the world to help people with what you've gone through, with the advice that you needed that you didn't have. Unfortunately, that will never change that. That won't make it right. And we can help pull the cart forward for everyone. And the more people that we can get up with us, pull those carts forward, they might be able to give us a little push too. Because we're a little tired up here, and it becomes a very reciprocal thing. There's so much you can learn from just listening to other people's stories. So what about this podcast? So maybe that's the impact that it had. It took you from this kind of narrow dead-end job, things like that. Trauma bond triggered. Maybe this, the Zoom meeting is how you were feeling at that dead-end job. And now, rather than things building up and ruminating and all that, now you're getting that out into the world, out of your own internal spiral, because that can build. And if there's anything that we've seen throughout history, it's the desire to shut up women, which means we need to get louder. Say more, do more. do more for us in our interest, and spreading the word on the type of things that we experience every day and get blown off about. Like about these dead-end jobs, about how hard we work and then get left behind. What's this one? 5, 6, 7. 7 of Pentacles in reverse. So maybe this is happening now? Because that's like the planting the seeds, patience, leading to the 8 of Pentacles. Could be getting a little impatient with the situation, which is understandable. Just want to be mindful of that and how that might be affecting you. So we always talk about, you know, divine timing and whatnot. I'm like, yeah, but my bills come in 30-day increments. It's that part I'm having an issue with. That's not very divine. And no, capitalism is not. But, and there might be some perception barriers to entry. It might seem more out of reach than it is to start your own podcast, to start your own YouTube channel, things like that. I just started it. I just kind of dove in. I've never done this before. It's definitely been pretty difficult to try and build and get the wheels turning. But what it has done is help me open up my voice and regain touch with that. And I think I've spent probably about $200 total in the past 2 years on like the equipment, the mount for my phone and microphones and stuff. And I was already reading tarot anyway, so I don't count that as an expense. But it's really like, it's not, at least in those beginning stages, I guess I don't see the need to go like balls to the wall and get the best microphone, the best cameras. Like, I'm just trying to figure it out, you know, I'm trying to learn. And as it invests in me, I'll start investing more in it. Because I need that reciprocation, you know. I can only do so much without that present. Judgment. And that can even be part of the argument too when it comes to the dead-end job. I've had that argument many a time, like, I'm putting all this in and my raises don't meet the cost of inflation. I'm not getting what I need to survive in the city you need this done in. Like, we're at real conflict. And in the modern era, employment contracts, at least maybe it's different for different industries, but not having those doesn't seem like an improvement to me, because there's no exit clause or anything like that when I'm not being treated well. Like, the whole leaving things up to the interpretation of lawyers, that's not a great strategy for the people that can't afford lawyers, that aren't getting paid enough to have that legal advice available. But maybe there's some sort of judgment coming in, whether or not it's from somebody involved in this situation, seeing what's going on, seeing some sort of unfairness playing out, or you are declaring judgment on this situation, that you have been treated unfairly. Now you want to go your own way, and they can think whatever they want about it because they pushed you out the door. They were the ones that judged you and made assumptions and, I don't know, called you feral, as if that's not a compliment, you know? Um, but they took action based on these assumptions, based on these judgments, which had some sort of negative impact on you, and now they want to like walk it back? What, now that there's consequences? Now that people are mad? No. Even if they have actually, truly, earnestly learned their lesson, there's still the penance part. You still have to make right what was wrong, even if you understand now. It's not like sorry's good enough. No. And I think it's actually better for everybody involved to have had that heart opening, to truly understand the impact that they had on somebody else's life, so that when they receive their own consequences, they truly understand even more how they hurt that person. Because at first, it's going to be like cognitive empathy. The next step, what the consequences allow for, are experiential empathy, which they don't get if we skip the consequences part. 3 of Pentacles. It's a group. I mean, a group of people. That's a court cards, maybe. Judgment on a group. Either from somebody official, or, I mean, I didn't see any swords, except for on the Zoom meeting. So maybe it's you calling judgment on a group, which people usually cast the word judgment in a negative connotation. No, it's, you're assessing how they chose to treat you based on the information that they had, and based on the information they didn't have, didn't try to acquire, didn't try to clear up. Just accepting the first thing that you're told and then taking action on it because, I don't know, somebody in authority told you to do that. That's not good enough. That's like the Nuremberg defense. Like, oh, we were just following orders. Like, neat. Here are your consequences for following those orders that were obviously leading to harm to someone. And pretty soon, we're going to have a new phrase for the Nuremberg defense, the way things are going on around here. I think I saw somebody, I don't remember the way that they rephrased it, but that's been coming up a lot in regards to ICE. Like, oh, we're just following, like, we're just doing what we're told, which is debatable, actually. So maybe start looking into your own platform. And if you do have a day job, they might have some sort of moonlighting policy. So you might want to check to see what that is before you start another venture. Which I think those policies are silly because, like, the economy, you know? But you don't want to create more problems than you're already dealing with. So walk in the park. Maybe a little brainstorming. What you want to talk about. If you want to talk about anything. What you want to do as an activity, like tarot or something, while you talk. I don't know, I found when I was in school, lots of activities, but I want a song. It said billiards, so if you like pool, you can play some pool. But when I was in school, my papers, the less that I edited them, the better that they were. Like, they definitely needed that initial, wow, all activities. I guess we're sticking with that. That's getting reinforced. But you can still, of course, listen to music. Walk in the park, fries and a shake. And that shake after the heat, that would probably feel pretty good. But I had found that if I edited past those first or second drafts, there's like a diminishing return on that. So, I don't know. Raw thoughts off the cuff, they can be a little messy, but they're more authentic. I don't know. There's more truth there. At least I think. I don't know. So something to think about. How you want to present yourself. I was going to say how you want to be heard, but they're going to hear you how they hear you. So how you want to present yourself. Because I want to present myself as me. I want to be authentic to what's going on with me, to my emotions, to my experiences, and I don't want to edit out the soul of what I'm trying to do. I just want it to be relatable to whom it might be helpful to. So things to think about, but overall, I hope this helps. I hope this resonates, and if it doesn't, I hope the next one does. Thank you so much.